The trouble started on an ordinary Tuesday evening. My golden retriever Max was in the backyard chasing squirrels, barking with that deep, joyful sound that had always comforted me. To me, it was just Max being Max. To the HOA, it was noise disturbance. I came home from work that evening to find a bright yellow envelope taped to my front door. It wasn't a welcome note. It wasn't a package. It was a fine. $250 due immediately. Your dog has been reported for excessive barking. I laughed at first, thinking it had to be a mistake. Max wasn't dangerous, wasn't destructive. He was my best friend, the one who had kept me going after losing my wife 2 years earlier. Without him, the house would have been unbearably silent. But this was only the beginning. The next week, another fine came. Then another. Every bark, every playful chase in the yard, every delivery man he greeted with wagging tail. It all became evidence. At the next HOA meeting, I tried to explain. I stood up in that crowded clubhouse, nervous but determined, and said, Max isn't a nuisance. He's family. He's all I have left. They didn't care. The board president, a woman named Carol who wore her pearls like a crown, smirked and said, rules are rules. If you can't control your animal, perhaps this isn't the right neighborhood for you. The room laughed. And in that moment, something inside me cracked. What they didn't know was that I wasn't just scraping by like they assumed. I'd built a quiet tech company years ago. Sold it, and retired early. I kept it low-key. No one knew the extent of what I had. But that night, sitting alone with Max's head on my lap, I made a decision. If they wanted to make me feel like an outsider, fine. But I wasn't going to fight their fines one at a time. No, I was going to end the game completely. It started with a conversation with my lawyer. Is it possible, I asked him, to buy out the lots here? Even the HOA itself? He raised an eyebrow, but when he saw I was serious, he said, if you've got the capital, and I know you do, it's possible. It won't be easy though. They won't sell without a fight. That was fine with me. I was ready for a fight. Weeks turned into months. Quietly, I made offers. Some laughed at me, others were desperate for cash and signed without hesitation. Little by little, I acquired shares of the community. Enough to shift power, enough to vote out Carol and her smug board. The day came when I walked into the HOA meeting. Not as a man being fined, but as the majority stakeholder. The looks on their faces were priceless when I laid down the papers. Effective immediately, I said, this neighborhood is under new management. And the first change of policy. Dogs are not only allowed, they're celebrated. Carol sputtered, You can't do this! But I could. And I did. Within 6 months the manicured lawns that once carried no pets allowed signs were transformed. We tore down fences and replaced them with running trails. The cold clubhouse became a dog adoption center. Every corner that once carried judgment now rang with laughter, barking, and joy. Neighbors who had been too scared to speak up before came alive again. Families brought out their pets without fear. Kids ran with their dogs across the fields where quiet hours once ruled. As for me, I sat on a park bench every evening, Max's head on my lap, and watched the world around me change. The neighborhood wasn't just mine anymore. It belonged to every dog and every person who had ever been told to be silent, to be smaller, to not belong. And for the first time since losing my wife, I felt whole again. Because Max wasn't just a dog. He was a reminder that love, loyalty, and joy deserve space to run free. So when they fined me for his barking, they thought they were breaking me. But really, they gave me the reason to build something greater. For Max, and for every soul who just needed a place to belong. Final message to viewers: sometimes the world will try to silence the things that bring us joy. But if we fight back with love, courage, and determination, we can turn that silence into something powerful. Never be ashamed of what you love. Sometimes, it's the very thing that changes everything.